Alright, so today we're talking about how to calculate capacitance in a series and in a parallel circuit. So to calculate capacitance with capacitors in parallel, you just add the capacitance together. And with capacitors in series, you have to reciprocally add all the capacitors together and then take the reciprocal of the total to get the total capacitance. So just an example, I have 4 capacitors in parallel here, and they're all 680 microfarad capacitors. So with them being in parallel, they should just add together. So let's get out our calculators. 680 times 4 is 2,720 microfarad. So basically, since they're the same capacitor, I just took it times 4 instead of just adding them all up individually. Alright, so those should equal 2,720 microfarad. Let's see what the meter says. So my meter says it's 2,777 microfarad, and it bounces around, but it's pretty close to what the math says it should be, and I would say that's right on the money. Alright, so now I have the 4 capacitors in series, so let's test out that math and see what the meter says. So you need to reciprocally add each capacitor together and then take the reciprocal of the total. So it's 680 reciprocal plus 680 reciprocal plus 680 reciprocal plus 680 reciprocal, then equals, and you want to take the reciprocal of that, and it should be 170 microfarad. Now, since they're all the same value, you don't need to do the reciprocal of every one of them and then do the reciprocal of the total. So take the capacitance of one of the capacitors, so it's 680, and divide it by the total number of capacitors you have there, which is 4, and then you have 170 again. So let's see what the meter says. Alright, so my meter says 171 microfarad, and our calculator said 170, so I would say that's right on the money. And something else you should do before you go checking the capacitance of a capacitor is to make sure it's fully discharged. Take a meter, see if there's any voltage on it, or just jumper across the 2 leads and short it out so that it completely discharges. And if it's going to be a high voltage though, you don't want to use a jumper. You want to use like a 200,000 ohm resistor to drain the voltage. You don't want to just short it out, or the electrical arc will burn you, or you could actually get shocked. So just be careful when messing with the high voltage capacitors.